bring out and for you to listen to Dr. Ron Paul, the next President of the United States.
Thank you very much. I do want to thank Jim for that very nice introduction. I want to thank Larry for hosting this and allowing us to come here. And this has just been great. It's been a very, very nice day so far in Kansas, and I'm delighted that I see so many people out there. I have to admit, several months ago, before I made the decision, I had some reluctance to get involved. I've been involved in politics for a good many years. Like the first time I ran and won in Congress was in 1976, and the movement for freedom was rather small and sparse. But today, I think it's alive and well and growing. A lot of times I'm asked now, where are you getting the support? How come you're doing so well on the internet? What's going on around here? And I said, well, it just might be that freedom is popular. They come and they claim and they say, I'm not promising them anything. I'm not promising any handouts. And how can you get supporters where you're not promising them these special deals and special gifts from the government? I said, yes, but we're promising that we'll fight for their liberty and limited government and fight to get the IRS off their backs and out of the office. Probably the hottest subject around the country and in the news today is unfortunately the war that's going on. A war that we shouldn't be in, and we should have never gotten in, and we should end it as quickly as possible. And it's not complicated on how we get into these messes that we're so much involved in, and that is, it's very simply, if we had more respect for the rule of law and were more obedient to the Constitution, I think we would be a lot better off. When the resolution came before the International Relations Committee, on which I sat to transfer authority to the President, to tell the President he could do what he wanted, and Congress reneging on their responsibility to decide one way or the other, I suggested to the committee, I said, why don't, if you want to go to war, since I did not want to, why don't you follow the rules and why don't you declare war one way or the other? And then, if the war is declared, go fight it and get it over with and not have it linger and not let it become political. So I introduced that resolution, and this was very annoying to the chairman as well as the ranking member, because the chairman of the Committee on International Relations said, no, we don't do it that way anymore. That part of the Constitution is anachronistic, and we don't follow that. And unfortunately, if you can take one part of the Constitution and make it anachronistic, there's not much left. And unfortunately, that the executive branch of our government, the legislative branch as well as the judicial branch, has for decades now totally ignored the Constitution. That's why we have runaway government, and I think that's why the American people are demanding a change. One other important issue that is in the Constitution that we totally ignore, and very, very few people talk about it who are in politics, and yet I find a lot of people outside of Washington who are very much aware of it. This whole idea about our monetary system. There's nowhere in the Constitution that says that when the politicians come up short, they can just print the money and have the Federal Reserve take care of the problem. And yet, endlessly, day after day with the media, they always poke fun and they say, oh, you're the guy that thinks we should have a gold standard. And I said, yeah, and they're the guys who think we should have a paper standard. But believe me, the powers that be aren't much interested in honest money, because paper money serves the interests of certain financial people, certain political people, and unfortunately there is a transfer of wealth from the poor and the middle class to the wealthy and to the Wall Street people because of the way the system works, and that's why we should object to the current monetary system we have.